So you're thinking about moving to Orange Beach, Alabama, Gulf Shores and the surrounding areas. Well, today I am going to talk about selling. If you were thinking about selling, currently on the market, or perhaps you're already under contract, listen up because the content I'm going to share with you is very important in the current market that we are in right now and could potentially save your deal. So let's get to it. Hey guys, if this is your first time to the channel, hit the like button, subscribe button, and ring the little bell. That way you can be one of the first ones to learn about the current market conditions in Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, and the surrounding areas. My name is Aileen Fountain, along with my partner Andy Hollis and our entire team. We put out videos just like this each and every week just to be informative, just to let you know what it's like to actually live at the beach. So whether it's 9 days or 90 days from when you're thinking about making your move, give us a call, shoot us a text, email us, set up a Zoom. We'd love to meet with you face to face. We get calls, texts, and emails from people just like you every single day, and we absolutely love it. So as I mentioned, this video is actually going to talk about selling. So not necessarily you moving to the area, but for the sellers out there. What I'm seeing right now in the market, and this is very important for you guys to learn if you're selling, there is a disconnect in the market right now between what buyers are willing to do and what sellers think is still a seller's market. We are not in a true seller's market anymore. Is the market still good? Yes. Are there a lot of willing and able buyers out there? Yes. Is it still a good time to sell? Yes. But to behave and act as if it is the market of 6 months ago, 12 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago is not the way to handle your transaction or the listing of your property right now. So there's a lot of buyers that are walking away from their contracts. I've seen buyers walk away and leave their earnest money. I've seen buyers walk away during their inspection period for various reasons. And I'm going to just talk to you about that because right now the problem is that the sellers are being too stubborn and buyers are digging their heels in, and buyers are willing to walk away right now. And it's not because they're not, wanting to purchase a property. It's not because they aren't able to purchase the property, but it is more of principle at this point. And so we are in a market where there's got to be some give and take. And I am seeing sellers really not being willing to give any. So I'm going to give you a couple examples. Right now, I have got a contract on a $2.2 million Gulf front property. My buyers are paying full price for this property. Inspection report came back, and there's some things that need to be addressed on the inspection report. We were never purchasing this as an as-is condition. We wouldn't have given full price if that was the case. So we've made what we think are, and what I think are very reasonable requests for the seller to either fix or give a credit for. And we're not talking about a big ticket here. We're talking maybe $6,000 worth of stuff on a $2.2 million property. This should not be a deal killer. The seller should be willing to look at the inspection report, see the buyer's requests are reasonable, and make accommodations. So what happens here, right? So the seller's not budging. My buyers are prepared to walk away. So potentially tomorrow my buyers walk away. What happens to the seller now? Well, here's the climate. We've got, interest rates that have risen. We're here dealing with insurance rate increases. So now you've got the buyer now has to deal with interest rates that have gone up. They have to deal with insurance that has gone up considerably since the hurricane. So they've got a rising cost there. And look, let's be real. You may not realize this, but rentals are down this year. Ask any rental manager in town right now. And rentals are slower this time of year than they have been the previous 2 or 3 years. So now you've got this trifecta going on from a buyer's perspective. Their rates have gone up. They're still willing to buy. Insurance has gone up, but they're still willing to buy. Rentals are slower, but they're still willing to buy. So the seller's got to understand that the buyer is jumping through all these hoops to make this happen. The seller's not willing to give any. Well, that's just a recipe for disaster and a recipe for a transaction that ultimately won't close over what? A couple $1,000s worth of stuff that would make the buyer happy. So now what happens? The deal falls apart. Are you banking on the fact that the next buyer that comes along is going to give you full price? What if they don't? What if you're dealing with these same issues on the next buyer? What if you're dealing with the situation where the buyer's not willing to give you full price on the next offer? So here you are, you were 2 weeks away from having $2.2 million as a closed sale. You've got tons of equity in the property. That's not even the issue. And you're gonna dig your heels in over a few $1,000s. I don't know. I mean, maybe it works out for the seller. I hope it does. Maybe the seller does go on to get a full price offer with a quick close, and the buyer doesn't ask for any inspection items. But now at this point, property goes back on the market, right? So what's the next buyer going to say? Hey, why did this fall out? And the listing agent has to say, well, seller wasn't willing to do any of the inspection items. So you need to be prepared to make an as-is offer. Oh, and by the way, you also need to be prepared to pay full price because that's what the seller's expecting, because that's what they had on their last offer. So now you're going to ask the buyer to, again, pay full price and take it in as-is condition. Buyers aren't in that space right now. A year ago, yes. 2 years ago, yes. Today, no. They're not going to go pay higher interest rates, higher insurance, being in a cooling rental market, and expect to handle inspection items after closing. So ultimately, we'll see how it plays out. Maybe the seller gets another full price offer tomorrow. I don't know. But we are talking about a couple $1 million, which does surprise me. There's a lot of buyers in our market in that price point. But at the end of the day, is it worth that risk, seller? Ask yourself, is it worth that risk of maybe A, not getting a full price offer next go around, or B, having to deal with the same issues with the next buyer and having to say again, no, I'm not doing any inspection items, and another buyer walking away? So at that point, was it worth not just making it work with this buyer? This buyer is ready to close. We are 2 weeks away from closing. Let's make that happen. So I'm telling you guys, because you could be dealing with this, and if you've got a seasoned agent that's helping you, they're telling you these things. You're just not listening because you think that we are in a market that we are no longer in. We are no longer in a true seller's market. Another example, I was on the flip side. I had the listing, had a buyer bring me an amazing offer. There was an assessment involved because guess what? Insurance rates are going up. Every condo complex down here is dealing with insurance costs that have gone up, which results a lot of time in an insurance assessment. So we were dealing with an insurance assessment that was coming into play during the negotiations of the contract. The buyer was willing to pay the majority of this assessment because they were going to own the property and the insurance was going to cover them. They were willing to actually pay the majority of it. It was almost a full price offer. Seller wasn't real happy about it. Seller said, I'm selling it as is. I'm not doing a thing after the inspection. So I conveyed that to the buyer's agent. The buyers knew that it was original AC, knew it had original hot water heater, knew all these things going into it, and they said, okay. But here's the reality of it, right? The inspection report comes back, and now they're reading it on paper, right? All these things that they're going to have to pay for and replace very soon after taking ownership. And what do? They start to have doubt now. Okay, I'm paying top dollar for this property. I'm giving the seller almost full price. They're expecting me to take on the burden of all these maintenance items that need to be done. And what do? They say, you know what? We're going to cancel the contract. We're within our inspection period. We have that right. We're going to cancel the contract. Now the seller's super disappointed because now the seller has to pay he's responsible now for this assessment. He's got to pay that full assessment. And, unfortunately, now that's how that played out. And I hope, hey, look, I hope you always want what's best for your clients. And hopefully, we are able to obtain a higher offer down the road. I don't know. But I can tell you that we had a very, very good offer, and it's unfortunate we weren't able to make it work. I've seen buyers get cold feet and walk on their earnest money. So right now, it's just a situation where you guys can still sell your property. You have a ton of equity in your property. There's still not a lot of inventory. Buyers still want to buy. This is still a great situation for you guys. Still a great situation as a seller. Just please don't be so stubborn and lose the deal over what really truly is insignificant items. Really truly is insignificant in the grand scheme of things as far as costs go. Keep your deal together, get it to the closing table, and walk with that equity, because the future, who knows? Is the market go up? Does it go down? Do interest rates go up? Do they go down? None of us know. So ask yourself, is it worth that gamble? Is it worth that risk? Or was it better off just to make it work with this buyer? So that is really information that I hope helps you as a seller to really get your property sold and to be, forgiving. I just put one under contract where we had multiple offers and we didn't get full price. But you know what? I told the seller, I said, this might be the best offer that we get. I don't know. And she said, you know what, Aileen, I agree with you. Let's take it. So, and I have full confidence. I've already got a backup offer on this property. I have full confidence that we'll get this property closed. But I have a seller who was very reasonable on price, listened to me on where we needed to be on price to get activity and to get offers. And here we are under contract with a backup contract. So I hope this helps you. If you've got a professional that's guiding you and telling you something similar, it's because that's what we're seeing in the market. We always want to get our sellers the most money that we can. But seriously, sometimes it's better just to give a little and keep the deal, keep the buyer happy, and get to the closing table. So I hope this information was useful and helpful to you. This is what we're seeing in the market right now. That's going to just about do it for this video. Hope you enjoyed the content of this video. Remember, if this is your first time to the channel, to hit the like button, subscribe button, and ring the little bell. That way you can be one of the first ones to learn all there is to know about life at the beach, what it's like to live here, what it's like to vacation here. We hope you check out some of our other videos, and until next time, we hope to see you around town.